Welcome back to XRP Insider, team. The authority on all things XRP, and well, we're doing something today. A little bit different from the previous week. I'm sharing this update with you in the true human voice. I'd like to thank people for the remarks made in response to it. However, for unknown reasons, neither YouTube nor the gods of the algorithm liked the previous human version. Alternatively, it might have been my voice. That simply didn't catch on, but I thank you to those of you who have said that. They, relish the authentic human engagement. Alright, so this endeavor is truly, so this isn't a text of speech. I'm just here to talk about my most recent information, analysis, and news in the realm of XRP, so let's get started. What's intriguing and novel? It's okay today, let's get started. We're going to be traveling far into the center of XRP in the larger. Initially, we'll begin with an in-depth analysis. We'll examine the price action of XRP. In the technical details, I'll give you a midterm projection and assess XRP's matching Bitcoin with the top 30 cryptocurrencies. You must comprehend the more general market dynamics to obtain an idea of where XRP might be going, and I'm not merely referring to Bitcoin or more widely available altcoins, discussing the technology and the whole market in terms of seasonality. So whether you like it or not, learn about the upcoming month from a seasonality perspective. A seasonality perspective is usually a market decline, typically in the IT space, which is probably something that, we'll be observing in the cryptocurrency field. Now, let's talk about the major reason why XRP, I wonder. What is its actual worth? There's a lot of buzz and noise here. The world of cryptocurrency, and especially in XRP, and usually XRP is elevated to essentially maintain the fantasy for all of you. However, today I'd like to share my sincere viewpoint on XRP's trajectory. We'll talk about the ramifications going ahead, the potential implications of the Ripple IPO for XRP, and explore in detail the current legal disputes, and I'll give you a preview of my anticipated outcome and, of course, its consequences. The result of these occurrences could greatly influence XRP's future, as you would be grateful, and I'll share my ideas about the implications of this for investors as well as the community. As I previously indicated, I've observed a huge trend in the cryptocurrency world to amplify news, frequently maintaining that nowadays, dreams are more alive than reality. I'm here to provide a grounded, useful point of view, which may vary from the typical story. Helping you think long-term is my aim. Regarding your involvement and investment using XRP, in addition to giving you a different perspective on our direction, if you find this conversation useful today and stay with us through to the conclusion, let's obtain the YouTube algorithm to, understand that truly meaningful content is priceless to you, providing a genuine human with an opportunity to be heard in the enormous talk about cryptocurrency. So let's get started. Let's explore the complex in detail. Fascinating XRP Ripple universe. If you haven't already, kindly like and subscribe. And leave a comment about this video. Since you're fine, we'll go ahead and let's start with this price activity. Is a macro perspective, which is the final. As you can see, we're in 2 to 3 years. We're in a wedge-shaped pattern formation, truly moving closer to the conclusion of the usually wedges shatter upward. Today, the world of cryptocurrency is a reality. Generally speaking, liquidity is required. Grab, which essentially indicates that we must descend this line to probably around the whale's 40-cent region to get a respectable amount of volume, and that's when we can get going, gaining a far larger appreciation. Regretfully, that is how these things work. Simply put, have fun. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit more detail, so allow me to delve into it. From a Monin perspective, this is the wedge A line moving downward, which we broke in the middle of February. We've now overcome the opposition. We are moving in the direction of the summit. The wedge's peak, now, in all honesty, I don't think I see us traveling noticeably higher. In my opinion, that comes from the perspective of trading patterns and discovering where Bitcoin is. The adults have begun to decline. I believe that we'll drop to the bottom. of the wedge, returning to the assistance line, and based on how the remaining cryptocurrency plays out in addition to the seasons, we may ultimately undertake an additional liquidity grab and move up even more from that point on. However, in the meantime, during the following 2 weeks, I get to see us in person, possibly putting the resistance on the test line, from which we are not far away. But going back to the assistance, the following action I would like to talk about is related to you guys. Strength, or XRP's relative weakness, and what you see in front of you right now is Bitcoin. For years of XRP against each of you. Just to be clear, Bitcoin is now actually deteriorating. If you notice a deterioration, be transparent. The value of XRP is declining in comparison to the previous year. Over the past 4 years, there has been a slow value of XRP falling about Bitcoin, especially in the last 6 months. Beginning in July, there has been a slow increase in Bitcoin strength in comparison to XRP, or increasing XRP weakness. In opposition, some could argue that, with Bitcoin, we're moving in the direction of some kind of resistance line in several places. There is going to be a change in my opinion regarding the fact that there is no other way for us to witness a notable reversal in XRP in opposition to the fact that, if things work out well, Bitcoin is worth it. According to the court case, that is the only way I can perceive things, thus being comparable to the G candles seen above. That's the only way I can envision a notable increase in XRP as opposed to Bitcoin. Either I anticipate a modest horizontal grind or perhaps just a sluggish decrease. I think this chart is especially beneficial for cycles, so you can determine if HODL XRP is what you wish to hold for the greatest time feasible, or you truly paused the cycles at a certain moment in time. Usually, I utilize this as a possibility to either exit XRP while researching Bitcoin or perhaps begin dumping Bitcoin in favor of XRP. This figure offers a fairly crisp image, but generally, as you can see from the previous, over the past 4 years, XRP has steadily diminished in comparison to Bitcoin. I'm not claiming that won't alter in the future. However, the truth is that Bitcoin is one of the biggest purchases of cryptocurrencies in terms of market capitalization. In terms of branding, observe the amount of money that's being pumped into it right now. In terms of positioning as well as the news, I do anticipate that over a more extended time frame, this downward trend will persist no matter what you do. Play the cycles as you select the Bitcoin UH chart, and XRP is, well, a fairly effective method for being able to discern when to escape. Of Bitcoin using XRP, and the now in reverse. This subsequent chart is indeed fascinating, so that's what you're searching for, which is XRP at which is the white-red bars, white-red, and the top 30 cryptocurrencies, meaning that in essence the red and green bars that appear at the start of this year, hence the main message here is when the Ripple news broke, you were there. Ripple fared noticeably better than all its peers, and it hasn't been the same since the progressive reduction in power at the start of the story of the Bitcoin ETF. XRP was genuinely taking pleasure in a lift, comparable to the remaining 30 cryptocurrencies, but over time they gradually reduced, as evidenced by the earlier charts. This basically represents the declining trajectory that it has been passing through, and we've just lately broken. So basically, what does this chart show? Demonstrates to you that from the start of the year of the Ripple, there was a 66% gain, with the top 30 cryptocurrencies seeing a 144% gain. Therefore, to make up for where we would have to advance today, I guess, to truly catch up, by about 44%. Compared to its contemporaries, so this illustrates how important the change has been that other Ripple-producing cryptocurrencies haven't participated in, mostly because of the court case and the FUD that never goes away concerning XRP. And currently, there's also a genuine need to comprehend what genuinely occurred at this particular moment, where Ripple made its major debut, performing worse than its peers and, moving down while the remainder of the market kept rising. In addition to Bitcoin, what at one point in time, what transpired here, generated this paradoxical feeling in the knowledge of Ripple and its divergence from the market's location heading, and the following plot point is that. Things I'd like to talk about with you, so let me begin with the apparent that is the court case or the SEC Ripple scenario, and it's clear that this isn't a hidden fact that, The SEC is utilizing this for establish a historic case and is looking for to establish a legal standard to smack every coin CEO with a NASDAQ force listing and eventually, I believe, complete control of cryptocurrency. Maybe with the aside from Bitcoin, I am aware of these, not the news you might want to hear, but we must examine the actuality of the situation where eventually the government will intervene control cryptocurrency. And most probable that will be by obtaining the coins to NASDAQ listed or completely exchange-based regulation. Ripple became a martyr as a result. But it appears that Brad has a strategy to reverse this, and this section of the narrative going to be roughly now to clarify what I believe will occur. I have to stand back and genuinely lead you through the standard cycle of technology investments, which crypto fundamentally comes after, Despite being a distinct asset class, is it coming from a financial standpoint, perspective and, making the investments? It travels in a quite similar manner. Undoubtedly, cryptocurrency allows more individuals to enter just for the simple reason that it's accessible to a greater number of regular investors, leaping in where it historically would have been a round of ong and seed. Hence, so let's begin at the bottom. If you consider a little cryptocurrency in notion, as well as thoughts usually listed, you ask your loved ones and friends to use your own money or extort them for cash. You may visit angel investors on occasion, which are experts in that field and provide you with between $20 and $50,000 to begin the project right now as you develop so deeply. In the nascent cryptocurrency market, pals, angel investors, and your family are yours whenever you start to build momentum. After some publicity has been generated, you truly serve a very obvious purpose. With an extremely obvious result, let's say you are aware that you are tracking or generating income, or at the very least receiving. A community pursuing the subsequent phase is a tiny cap, hence tiny cap cryptocurrency is acquired with larger investment flows. Therefore, we usually obtain seed money from larger players, and seed money may choose to be in debt. I suppose high-yield debt is the norm. That's a marginally pertinent point, but indeed, debt would be the primary factor. Would require a large financial outlay. When, a company or person will genuinely attempt to obtain a substantial portion of the business. Basically to make up for the investment's risk after that reaches a higher degree, a substantial where Ripple is essential in the cap seats that a venture would handle capital stage at this time. Venture capital, V, usually possesses money worth millions of dollars and allocates its funds to particular asset classes. Typically, those asset groups are fairly dangerous, yet concurrently, they are quite established and in the pre-IPO stage. Represents the initial public offering. Generally in the case of a private business that desires to be listed on a trading platform next, you go through a procedure known as the initial public offering, or IPO, is a way to your business to sophisticated or retail investors, hence as of right now, Ripple in the field of venture capital currently the following section, and clearly private equity, therefore private equity and venture capital now the only cryptocurrency with a genuine IPO stands for Bitcoin, essentially the following amount of money invested usually, that happens, once there's an advanced product or service utility, the company visits the market, which essentially purchases goods from in retail and noteworthy institutional participants, who usually avoid playing in the, smaller riskier space, so at least once more, the only true cryptocurrency that has since Bitcoin is an IPO. The ETF is basically provides a personal and institutional investee having the option to invest in the asset since it's available on the exchange. Bitcoin now obtained its listing akin to an IPO. As you may be aware, Ripple is an ETF. Seeking to go public in March. Why is this crucial? Yes, it's crucial for the reason that will offer an unambiguous distinction between XRP and Ripple, providing investors with the capacity to finance Ripple, which in turn provides Ripple with the funds to invest in a more extensive range of services. With worldwide payment options like the CBC initiatives, therefore, even though I don't, CBC Ripple will hold the top spot. Worldwide to rule the international payments as well as integration strategies throughout distinct regions. What does all of this imply for CBDCs? Ripple is listed there, which makes XRP good. will be a regulated, unambiguous separation between XRP and Ripple. Thus basically the legal dispute between Lu and Ripple will no longer require creation as a ripple between the business and the creator of services, goods, and XRP, of course being the token of value, which would symbolize the usefulness of the network enlarged by Ripple. It is quite evident distinguishing the token from the creator of the SLS service integration of products, etc., so the utility of the token shall be an accurate depiction. We'll refer to it as the discerning brand. Importance that the general population accords when considering medical law, which essentially is examining an idea, considering the worth or direct capitalization of an idea corresponds to its usefulness and usage, thus Meta's law comes to mind. Especially about XRP at this point. The utility's worth will be the total resolution produced by Ripple in the world of CBDC, within the CBDC, international finance, crucial representation of a central, specifically this central utility token, which is the cause. Is this chart in front of you for what reason? Sincerely, I think XRP will not be equivalent to Bitcoin because you are aware that it's one's completely decentralized approach. There isn't an entity that, in essence, oversees Bitcoin, sometimes known as Ripple, which is a company. That road is genuinely the developers. Maps and intends to utilize various governments everywhere to establish a worldwide global CBDC in addition to a payment method structure SL system. What should I do now? Do I mean that, and if so, why is that significant? However, I don't believe Ripple will apologize. XRP may not always follow. However, the trajectory of Bitcoin in terms of capitalization, so you can now see it on screen, is an analogy between a ripple. Essentially, capitalization is the lower, the white, lower graph, and, red bars as opposed to Bitcoin, which is the red and green are easily visible. That percent of Bitcoin capitalization, WISE is performing noticeably better than Swell by roughly 600%. The rationale behind my comparison of the two is that if we apply the medical reasoning legislation and the worth of a thing or a token, in essence, a coin or token is the perceptual worth of its practicality for the therefore, theoretically, users and holders, although I don't believe Ripple will rip up to the identical level of Bitcoin due to a trademark. From a perspective standpoint, Bitcoin is much more hyped and well known. It's the original asset, in my opinion. One could argue that at the very least halfway to where, Bitcoin is at the moment, which is an additional 300% extremely reasonable goal for holders of XRP to anticipate XRP to move in the upcoming 12 months. Therefore, in our situation, there would be around 1.5 to 1.7, perhaps, dollars to the coin later on in the day, maybe even less. When it all boils down to a token coin, we are individual users putting a conceptual value based on our estimation of its worth. It might be valued at 5, but in that case, the roadmap and the worldwide trademark of XRP must be changing, substantial, quicker, or comparable to all of the news stories on Bitcoin. It's present everywhere. To cut a long tale short, I think there is a solid case for XRP to occur at least 3 times, if not more, in its current state after the case resolves itself once Ripple is listed. Entity via a public offering, and the second, in part because of the existence of a predetermined quantity of tokens, is that, in my opinion, as a listed company, Ripple is eligible to utilize the money flow that it gets from investments and operations to purchase XRP, driving up the price considerably greater. Thus I believe there's a variety of natural and, intelligent perceptive value justifications for XRP's much higher where it is at the moment. I hope you've had the pleasure of hearing as much as I've liked watching this video. I hope you all have a wonderful day as I create it. And maybe this was far more fascinating than the average AI content. Alright, one last warning. This is instructional material, not financial guidance, particularly in light of that. I hope everyone has a wonderful day today and continue to be involved.